Next, tragedy strikes, accidents happen. Be there when the calls come in. It's back-to-back episodes of Rescue 911. Next on Discovery Health Channel.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. Plus,
I felt completely helpless.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do.
Except wait.
Follow an injured hiker's perilous journey out of the woods.
I'd never seen anybody's look like that.
On Rescue 911.
Maquoketa Caves State Park in Iowa is an area known for its majestic caves and rugged beauty. On August 28, 1988, visitors from miles around had come to the park to enjoy one of the final days of summer.
We had a choice between going to the caves and going horseback riding, and we just decided we'd go to the caves and look around.
24-year-old Val Svetich and her 21-year-old boyfriend Kevin Polson hiked about a mile from the parking lot through a network of interconnecting caves that wound through the state park.
We just came out of the caves and we were walking along a path, and we saw a path that was a little higher up.
I wonder if we can get up there.
To get a better view of the park, we just kind of climbed a little ways. The two of us were just laughing and joking and just having a marvelous time.
Well, halfway.
Hiking on a trail below were Debbie and Bob Leager.
We noticed a couple walking up along the ledge. I said to Debbie, that looks pretty dangerous up there. They're up there about 40 feet, it looked like.
Kevin, I'm gonna go up here.
All right, go.
Val just went down a little bit down the path. And I turned to her and I said, for goodness sakes, hang on with both hands, because it wasn't a very thick path. You had a pretty nice view from up there, and I just turned around and looked at the view.
That I didn't know if she was alive or not. I thought there was life there, but I wasn't positive. I went to her.
Okay, don't touch it. Just keep your hands down. Keep your head. No, you keep your head. No, you don't want to see it. Keep your head down.
I told him to run for help in the other direction because he wasn't doing me any good because he was in such shock himself.
Doing fine. What's your name?
Her leg was bent somewhere in the lower part of the thigh, straight back. There was tissue and bones sticking out. The blood had started to pump out. So at this time we knew we had to apply direct pressure to it so we'd get it to stop.
Have to stop the blood flow.
I just ran, and I'm not even exactly sure how my sense of direction got straight, but all of a sudden I was running, and then I was at the entrance.
Help me. My girlfriend's been really hurt. She fell a long ways. Let me call it in.
The call for help went into Jackson County Public Hospital at 2:10 p.m.
Maquoketa C263, 1033.
An ambulance crew was immediately dispatched to the scene.
Code 88, Maquoketa Caves State Park.
Melody Oltman was at the park that day, vacationing with her family.
I was getting off the phone, and the kids and Dwayne came up and they said someone fell in the park and they need your help. And I said, probably just a sprained ankle. I'm not gonna go. They don't need my help. And he said, no, really, you should go look. Go see what's going on. I'm a nurse, and everybody helps everybody, and so I thought, well, I'd check it out. Ease my conscience, I guess.
Just lay still as much as you can. Try to keep your hands away.
The victim kept telling me, she goes, don't let me die. She kept saying, don't let me die. She said that a number of times, and I assured her that she would not die. But in my own mind, I wasn't sure if I'd keep her from dying, because at this time the blood was flowing greatly.
Is somebody coming?
Yeah, they're on their way. They call 911. She fell off that cliff up there.
Really bad.
I felt right away it was real serious. She was bleeding even with the direct pressure, and there was little else we can do. We were concerned about her dying.
Okay. All right. Okay, here comes the first aid kit. Okay. Okay. Here's a nice pack.
I'm used to being a nurse in a hospital and having equipment in the drawers, in the cupboards, ready to use. And there wasn't anything there, so you feel helpless because you want to do something more. And there's nothing more you can do except wait.
Bring them, go back up to the rangers and tell the paramedics where we are. And tell them it's bad. Okay. Run right away, go.
They're on their way now. They're coming, Val.
It was good when I was running or doing something, but when I just had to sit there, it was horrible. I felt completely helpless.
Val, come on back. Want to take over? My hands are cramped, okay?
I felt like she could go at any moment, and I felt like we must keep working, keep holding the pressure, keep talking to her so that she didn't die.
The ambulance arrived at the park within 6 minutes. Kevin was waiting to lead paramedic Jamie Sloha and her partner EMT Audrey Winiger to the scene.
He met us at the ambulance when we got there, and so he knew how bad she was, and, you know, he didn't tell us, or he couldn't tell us.
Kevin, get over here. Let's show them where to go.
We utilized the bystanders. They carried equipment for us, and we walked down to the scene.
Gotta get them together. Go.
You're doing fine. Great. You're doing just fine. Here come the paramedics. You're doing fine.
We weren't prepared for what we ran into. I could see that there was quite a bit of blood loss. The whole thigh was blown up from the inside out.
Up the cliff.
I'd never seen anybody's leg look like that. It was awful.
What did you get for your first 80 over 60. We're in trouble.
We all felt a real urgency in getting Val into a hospital where we could get the bleeding stopped and get her fluid replaced.
Audrey, I think we're going to need help. Want to get the rescue squad in mask pants if possible, okay?
We were in trouble. We were running out of bandages with the severity of the wound and what we were prepared for. A bystander gave up his T-shirt. We wrapped that around the existing bandages to help soak up the blood.
Someone got a belt we can use? Yeah. You might not get it back. Okay.
We utilized a bystander's belt, wrapped it around the patient's left thigh area above the injury site, and tightened it up fairly tight to help control the bleeding.
Keep talking to her, make her talk to you.
Okay, you doing good,
Yeah,
Val?
he's going.
Okay,
Wrap it up as tight as you can.
I felt responsible
Kevin, I don't think Kevin should be in here. Why don't you get him out of here?
Okay.
because if we had went horseback riding, it wouldn't happen. And because if we hadn't have gone up to this little path, if she hadn't had the faith in me that I was a diligent hiker and this shouldn't have happened, you know, I felt that it was my fault.
When you die suddenly, only an autopsy will expose the truth. Meet Dr. G. Get inside her mind as she pieces together a puzzle. Dr. G, Medical Examiner, Friday night at 9 on Discovery Health Channel.
If faced with danger, what would you do? Would you react in time? See ordinary citizens become heroes. Rescue 911 continues next on Discovery Health Channel.
With no time to waste, they began to carefully carry her out.
We want to keep her nice and straight and as still as possible, and not to move the blood flow of the body. You know, it's not much, but there's enough that if you put the head way up, we can make the patient lightheaded or change their level of consciousness. At that time, we did not want to do.
Ground was real uneven. The terrain is really rocky, and there's some real narrow openings in some of the caves, and so then we had to almost turn the longboard sideways.
Okay, Val? Okay, a decline here.
The volunteer rescue squad, experienced in handling the rugged terrain, arrived at the park within 15 minutes of the first ambulance.
Down the trail about 150 yard, right down this way. Okay. Really? All right, I got her. I got her back here.
I was glad we had bystanders to help carry her out, because Jamie and I don't think we could have done it ourselves.
Okay. We got more steps here?
They're really steep.
Okay. They're really narrow. Really narrow. Just wait till they get turned around a little bit. Okay, let's take our time now. Let's take it easy.
We met the rescue squad when we were almost to the steep stairs. And at that point, the rescue squad basically took over with extricating Val out from the stairs up.
Val's leg was completely shattered. She was near shock when she arrived at the local hospital where Dr. Clifford Rask was on call.
Well, on a young person like this, we're always very concerned that we want to restore them to, the best health that we can. And in this case, it seemed unlikely that we were going to be able to save the leg, but I thought if there was one chance in 1,000 even, that by getting her to a series of specialists, if they could salvage part of the leg, she would be much better off then. It was for that reason that I thought we should transfer her to a larger center.
I saw her wheeled to the helicopter, and between the hospital and the helicopter on the grass is when she lost consciousness from lack of blood.
Val was airlifted to the University of Iowa Hospital, where doctors fought to save her life. She had lost 50% of her blood volume.
When I woke up the next day, I asked them if they saved my leg because I knew I'd broke it, and they told me that they had to take my leg. And that was really was hard on me. I kind of cried a little bit like I am now. And then I just said, well, thank God I'm still alive.
The decision that we had to make was very tough because we knew our daughter and we knew how active she was and we knew the things that she liked to do, and it was just, we didn't want her to hate us for signing the papers to have her leg amputated.
Made a mess, Mom. Oh, gosh. She had to do what she thought was best, and what was best was that they had to amputate to save my life.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks. Oh, that's terrific.
I don't believe Val sees herself as handicapped. Handicapped is not a word in her vocabulary. It's more of an inconvenience. I would call it an inconvenience, not a handicap.
I'm hoping to get a new prosthesis called a Savalich, which will enable me to run and ride a bike and do any of my other activities that I used to do before the accident, but I can't afford it right now. This amputation is definitely not going to get me down. I'm still going to be a doctor. I still can live a full active life. If I want to have children, I can still have children. Nothing's going to hinder me. Whenever my time's up, that's when I'll leave this world. But until then, I'm here to stay and to live to my fullest potential.
Next, step inside the command center where the calls for help are answered and meet the real-life heroes who save lives. Stay tuned for another episode of Rescue 911. Next on Discovery Health Channel. Real life, medicine, miracles.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.